Let's talk about Aileen Wuornos. You might know her as one of America's most infamous female serial killers, but her story is far more complicated and far darker than the headlines suggest. Born in 1956, Aileen's life began in tragedy. Her father was a convicted child molester who took his own life in prison. Her mother abandoned her and her older brother, leaving them with their grandparents. But this was no safe haven. Aileen endured years of horrific abuse at the hands of her grandfather. By her early teens, she was pregnant, kicked out of her home, and forced into a life on the streets, turning to sex work just to survive. It was a brutal existence that forged a deep-seated rage and a desperate need for self-preservation. In late 1989, that rage exploded. Over the course of a single year, the highways of Florida became Aileen Wuornos's hunting ground. Her first known victim was Richard Mallory, a 51-year-old electronics store owner. His body was discovered in a wooded area in December 1989, shot multiple times. Aileen would later claim he had brutally assaulted her, a claim that gained some traction when it was revealed Mallory had a prior conviction for attempted rape. But he was only the beginning. Next was David Spears, a 43-year-old construction worker. He was last seen leaving for a job on May 19, 1990. His naked body was found weeks later, shot 6 times. He was a father, a hard worker whose path tragically crossed with Aileen's on a lonely stretch of road. Just days later, Charles Carskadden, a 40-year-old part-time rodeo worker, was found. He had been shot 9 times with a .22 caliber pistol. His car was found abandoned miles away. He was described as a gentle giant, a man who loved his work with horses. Then came Peter Seams, a 65-year-old retired merchant seaman and aspiring missionary. In June 1990, he left his home in Florida, heading for Arkansas. His car was found in another county with Aileen's palm print on the interior door handle. Peter Seams' body was never recovered. Troy Burris, a 50-year-old sausage salesman from Ocala, was reported missing on July 31, 1990. His body was found in a ditch along a state road, shot twice. He was a family man on his regular delivery route. In September, the body of 56-year-old Charles Dick Humphreys was discovered. He was a retired U.S. Air Force major and a former police chief. A decorated veteran, his life of service ended violently, his car and wallet stolen. The final victim was Walter Antonio, a 62-year-old truck driver. His body was found in a remote logging road in November 1990. Like the others, he was shot and robbed. 7 men from all walks of life, all dead. As the body count rose, police knew they had a serial killer on their hands. The break came when they started tracking items pawned from the victims. The trail led to 2 women, Aileen Wuornos and her lover, Tyria Moore. After Aileen was identified from a composite sketch, police located Tyria, who agreed to help them. In a series of recorded phone calls, she coaxed a confession out of Aileen, who was arrested in a biker bar in January 1991. The trial was a media circus. Aileen initially stuck to her story. Every murder was self-defense. She claimed the men had become violent or tried to rape her, and she killed to protect herself. The media, however, painted a different picture, dubbing her the Damsel of Death, America's first female serial killer. Her courtroom behavior was erratic and explosive. With no family or support system, she was a solitary figure facing a mountain of evidence and public condemnation. Her story changed multiple times, at one point confessing to robbery as the motive, only to recant later. Ultimately, the jury didn't believe her claims of self-defense for all the killings. Convicted and sentenced to death, she was executed by lethal injection in 2002. There is no question that Aileen Wuornos was a killer. But her story forces us to confront uncomfortable questions. What happens when a child is failed by every system meant to protect them? Can a life of unimaginable trauma and abuse create a monster? This doesn't excuse her actions, but it complicates the narrative. We must remember the 7 men whose lives were stolen. Richard Mallory, David Spears, Charles Cuscaden, Peter Seams, Troy Barres, Charles Humphreys, and Walter Antonio. They were sons, fathers, and brothers. Their stories ended in terror and violence on the side of a Florida highway, their families left to grapple with an irreplaceable loss. Aileen's case has inspired movies, documentaries, and endless debate. It's a chilling reminder that behind every true crime headline, there are multiple human stories, often tangled in a web of pain, trauma, and tragedy. So what do you think? Was Aileen Wuornos a cold-blooded monster, a broken victim who became a victimizer, or something else entirely? Drop your thoughts below.